gut-wrenching, and you're going to cry like a baby. I was crying so hard, and it wasn't just like a little cry. It was like sobs. And I was sitting there, and I had to get my hoodie, okay? And I had to get my hoodie. I had to shove it in my mouth because I was like crying. I was like, in the movie theater.
I didn't understand it because...
Oh, my gosh. I was just crying.
I thought the first one was
all over the place.
While it was a good movie... Hold on. Shirt's all tangled up.
Oh, me too. I have like fat belly shirt.
I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a horribly missed opportunity.
What?
Because I felt they did too many stories.
Oh,
and so every time we got into one of the stories, it just took you back out of it to go to the next one. I never felt the emotion through most of that in the first one. So I was like,
this guy.
I see what you're saying. And it's there.
It was emotional to
me. But I never got invested with any of the other dogs.
But it was the story of Bailey.
I'm aware of that, but I never got full invested in the rest of the animals that were in the film because every time you started getting invested in it, then it changes. So it's not enough time.
It was so cute. It was cute.
See? Cute, adorable, and heartwarming. You just said.
It was, and gut-wrenching and sad.
Anyway.
But then this weekend, we finally watched A Dog's Journey, which is the follow-up to The Dog's Purpose. And it continues the story of Bailey. And I am so happy that we had Dennis Quaid, who I've now realized is the same Quaid brother, not the creepy one.
She didn't know she was.
No, I guess Quaid. I knew, but then you started showing me all his weird Twitter names.
We were watching Independence Day as we do on 4th of July.
Both of them.
And I was telling her, I was like, that guy's lost his mind. And she's like, what? I said, yeah, Randy Quaid just went off the deep end. And so I started telling her about a bunch of the lawsuit things he had, his arrest with him and his wife. And,
the dog's had on me.
And all this kind of stuff. And he does these videos on Twitter where he's got like weird multi-lights flashing. They're close up and he's got this big beard. And he talks like he's like a supervillain or a wizard.
I think he's like an evil wizard.
He does like, it's like Shakespearean monologues about politics. He's like, the tortoise is destroying the hair for those that feed. It's that kind of stuff, and there's weird blue and green and red and white. And she goes, what? And then I had to tell her, I said, this guy's brother. She's like, what?
I'm sure I knew it somewhere in my head, but I'm just like, whoa. Anyway, so the new movie, A Dog's Journey, so cute.
And see, this one I enjoyed more because it
followed that one thing.
One story.
Yeah.
Even though you get multiple dogs, there's just enough snippet because it's taking you back to that same story.
Now, which one of these dogs was your favorite? There's normal Bailey. There's this cute little tiny baby dog. There's a Snoopy dog. And then there's this big old hound dog.
I'm not usually a fan of beagles, but the big floppy ears are fun to watch.
Oh, so cute.
And I love the Mastiffs, but we didn't get enough of the Mastiff. It was like almost the Mastiff was here and gone at the same time.
All like,
so.
And then I liked the little baby dog because I want one of those little baby dogs
but yes.
that I can take with me in stores and everywhere I go.
I'm going to
get a car seat. Yes, I'm going to take my dog everywhere I go.
No.
But wait, I have 2 animals, so one of them has to go before I can get another one.
And it's going to be you.
And it's going to be the cat. No. If anybody would like an older cat,
nobody's taking
he's declawed in the front, and all he does is sleep. If you want him, let me know. All right. What did you think about this? You liked the story?
I did enjoy this one.
The dog.
What I like about it even more is they're both basically the same movie.
Essentially.
Like I said, I like this one a little bit better because it followed. It's still, both are kind of missed opportunities if they had just done one, but I get the idea, and it works. This one I felt worked a little bit better because it stuck to a key focus.
Yeah.
Where this other one, Dog's Purpose, had that focus, but it gets lost in itself trying to tell you multiple life stories instead of the one story that's the important one that it goes back to, which is supposed to be the big twist. But it's not really a twist because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, eventually.
So this one I thought worked better because it not only follows the journey of a new character, but it still attaches to the original story. And it kind of makes it feel like this one comes full circle to the ending of this one. I agree.
It all works together.
This is a beginning and ending. So it's better as one long film.
It really is.
Than it is individual films.
I agree. And I think don't be that person that watches the second one without seeing the first one, please.
Because there's stuff in this movie that will not make any sense if you have not seen this movie.
Yes, you've got to watch them together. And
just so you know,
okay.
Our own journey to watch this movie, we missed it in the theater. We missed it upon its originally Blu-ray release. We bought it on Black Friday.
Yes.
In November.
Why haven't we watched it?
And it's been laying on the end table since November.
I know why now. Because I didn't want to sit there sobbing again.
Well,
I talked about it.
Like, well,
I just had to cry.
It actually really wasn't that. That really wasn't the reason because we never even talked about watching it. Like periodically, it would come up. Hey, we need to watch this, and I tend to, if we need to watch a movie or we're getting ready for something, I tend to leave it on an area so we see it, so we don't forget to watch it, and then it goes back into here into the movie room. And this one laid there because I knew if we put this on the shelf, we would never watch it.
True.
So this week we were like, we don't have as many to talk about. We ended up still having our 4. We're like, let's just watch this. So we watched it along with some other unexpected stuff. So
I really enjoyed it. There you go.
All right.
Check out A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey. Available now.
What's next, sister?
All right. We can go up this way if you want.
I don't care.
Okay, the next movie, I had no idea what it was about.
I knew vaguely only because I had gotten a bunch of press emails about it. And I watched the trailer because it was one of those that was like, I want to watch this movie, you know, because the premise of it didn't sound overly intriguing to me, the synopsis.
Yes.
But I like Jeff Daniels, who's in it. And I thought, well, let me see the trailer, see if it's something to be interested. Because I hate being one of those guys that reaches out and say, can you please send me a copy or a link? And then I have no interest in watching it.
Yeah,
and
don't be that person.
There's more chances I'll never watch it if I do that.
Or our friends who borrow a movie and bring it back like 6 months later and still never watched it. Sean Scott.
Don't give their last name. This is the intranets. Anyway, so the movie's called Guest Artist.
We'll cut that part out.
No, we won't. It's called Guest Artist, and it stars Jeff Daniels. Also a guy named Thomas Macias.
The new guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is literally his first film.
It was so good.
This is his first credit.
Wow.
And I have a story that I have that I didn't tell you about this whole
I saw introducing.
Yeah. And it's written by Jeff Daniels.
Really?
Yes. Huh. Which there's a whole bigger story that I didn't tell you about.
Because I saw the introduction said based on
actual
events
that became a play
that became this movie.
Yes. It's written by Jeff Daniels.
Okay.
So let's talk about the movie first.
So the name of the movie is Guest Artist.
Yes.
Boom.
And it's essentially the story of a famed playwright who is hired to write a play for a small town theater.
Yes, but he's on the sauce.
He's a drunk. He's on the sauce. And so he shows up
on the sauce.
But he also hasn't written anything yet.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole drama. So the entire movie takes place, majority, there's a little at the beginning, a little in the middle, and a small bit at the very end. But probably 98% of this movie takes place at a train station.
Yes.
And it's the guy picking him up.
Yeah.
The guy that works at the theater is supposed to pick him up. And it's literally just them two arguing and fighting back and forth.
Yes.
And it very much feels like a stage production.
It is. And I actually really liked that part of it.
And there's a reason it feels that way. And I'll explain it to you shortly.
Because it was a play, it said.
Well, but I'll explain it to you. There's a bigger thing to this. It was even more interesting. But what did you think of the film?
I really enjoyed this movie. And like you said, there are some things, the way it's set up and the shots, it's like you can envision it on the stage.
Yes.
The way it's set. And I love it because through the majority of the movie, there's 2 people talking and there's 3 people there because they're in the train station. And I love that train station guy.
Yeah, I wrote it in my review. I wrote about him.
Best dude ever.
Well, did you get the vibe of his purpose?
He's the audience, or
yes, he is the audience
seeing
what these 2 people are going through.
I got it. I love theater, so I got it.
He also has
so
he has these little cuts. A lot of times it's just background, and if you don't catch it, they cut to him.
He has some hilarious lines.
Well, they cut to him sometimes, and it's just him looking, and it cuts away. And if you don't really understand what they're doing with the character, it seems like that was a stupid cut.
No, but it's important.
But when you start understanding what it is, he's like he's almost like the god.
Yes.
To the universe that you're watching. Because he's overseeing it. He interjects periodically and they're always funny and it's always hostile.
The funniest thing he does to me is we're in this train station in little podunk nowhere. And he's still doing his announcements. It's the middle of the night. He's like, don't forget that military members get a 15% discount. I'm like, there's no one here.
He does that. He interrupts people having a conversation and both of them are like,
there's no one at the station, but he has he checks it off.
And he gets mad at one point because there's all the benches, and that somebody's jumping on the benches, and they had belonged to some church. So he comes out with his baseball bat. You get off that bench! You know,
my gosh! He's the funniest character.
Yeah, but Jeff Daniels is amazing in this movie. He's of course playing an alcoholic, but he's very unlikable.
Yes.
But at the same time, you want to watch him. You want to hear the character speak, and he says very profound things, but he's just an ass.
Yeah.
But then it all comes full circle of why he's an ass and where he's at. And this new guy, I don't know how to say his last name, Macias or something, but Thomas.
It's Macias or Macias.
He's polar opposite. He's awkward and quirky and funny and vibrant.
He's just the cutest little thing because he's one of those genuinely good people that like nothing's gonna bring him down.
Yeah, and when he finally starts getting brought down, he snaps.
Yeah.
And that's what causes him to even more banter. It's such a good. If you're a theater fan, I think you'll love it more.
You're gonna love it.
It very much reminded me of the movie Fences with Denzel Washington. That was a stage production that brought to life, but it was just such a great. This is an actor's movie.
Totally.
It's not about big sets. The whole movie was shot in 9 days.
Wow.
And it was shot in this real train station in the real hometown where Jeff Daniels is from. I don't know where Jeff Bridges is from.
Jeff Daniels there.
The Melissa Gilbert and her husband were the producers on it.
Okay.
And her husband directed it.
Okay.
Jeff Daniels' son did the score.
Chelsea, Michigan.
So, but here's the thing. This is based on a real life experience Jeff Daniels had when he was working for a theater company about picking up somebody and the real life people. And he actually runs a theater in this city that's a theater he owns. Oh, cool. That he runs productions on. He wrote this for that theater production. I believe was in it.
That's awesome.
And then they talked to him and he got with Melissa Gilbert and her husband, Busfield, whoever the director's name is. They got together and they decided this would be the first one to make as like a feature film.
That's crazy.
Together. And the guy that they discovered, he worked at the theater.
Yeah.
Like in real life, Thomas.
Yeah.
He works in the real life theater that they went, and Jeff Daniels found him and said, there's something about this kid. So they cast him in this movie.
That is so cool.
So it was this whole thing that I started reading with the PR stuff they sent me and how directly it connected. And that's why they wanted to shoot it in this place, in this real place, this real train station. So all of it's based on the real story that Jeff Daniels went through.
That's so crazy.
And I'm sure some of it's embellished a little bit, but
it's okay.
But yeah, it's a real life story situation that he had to deal with.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's sadly one of those movies that I have a feeling it might get lost in the shuffle.
Oh, I
hope more people see it. This Tuesday, it's going to be available for rent on Apple TV and all the different platforms.
Very good.
So if you can watch it, especially if you're a theater lover, then you really, really should check it out. Or if you just love Jeff Daniels, because it's a great movie.
Yeah, you need to.
And I want to say the movie is almost 2 hours, and it didn't feel that long.
At one point, I was
like, see what it should tell you right at the top, on the where you're at. No, on the IMDb page. Scroll it.
Hold on.
Scroll
1 hour and 14 minutes.
Okay, so it's
not that long.
Not as long as I thought it was, but it didn't feel that long at all.
No, it was good.
Especially when you get in a movie like this, it's a talkie.
It is a talkie, and you got to pay attention. But there's some funny things that come out of it.
Yeah, there's no explosions or superheroes or ninjas.
But you don't need it.
But there's a baseball bat.
Yeah, and there.
Yeah, and none of it. And it's a study of people, and it's heart wrenching. It's funny. It's everything you would want in a good stage production.
I agree.
But it's done in a bigger scale, but still very simplistic.
Yes.
And I thought it was excellent.
And then I love you have like your one-off characters, like the one person that's actually coming to the train station.
Yeah.
And then like the delivery dude, and he's like, the funniest thing is the delivery guy comes in, he's like, whoa, it's like Grand Central Station. There's 2 people.
Yeah. He was like, well, no, remember when he showed up, there was only one at the time.
Yeah, and he's like Grand Central Station. He's like, well, this guy's actually from New York. It's like, no way. I'm like, oh my God, this is the most ridiculous thing.
And he's talking about the other guy like he's not there.
And yeah, I know. And then they make the train station work because one of the guys, he's afraid of flying. So
yeah,
that's how they make the train station
in the real life story.
Oh my gosh, hilarious! I want to go on a train ride, babe.
We've been on a train ride.
I know, but I want to go on another train ride. I've been in Italy, and I've been when we had to go up to Machu Picchu.
I'm on the train ride at the zoo.
Choo choo. No, we need to
And
do
Penny
it.
Whistle Park, I used to go on a little train.
Oh, that's so cute.
I remember I loved in Penny Whistle Park. They had the boats. And they were in this gigantic tank of water and had the bell. And it just went in a circle.
See, ours, well, back home, it was Funland.
And
we had the little ding ding bell too, and we had the little train, and the train would go all around the park. And then some days they had the extended track where you'd go even further out and all the way back.
Did you have a hump?
Yes, there was a hump. It wasn't. I think
Penny Whistle Park was bomb.com,
yo. Did y'all have like a little mini Ferris wheel?
No. Well, Penny Whistle Park was all indoors.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't have a lot. It had a ton of different stuff.
Do you have like skee ball and the games? And
yeah, it had. I think it had all that stuff.
Yeah. Now it's all
anyway.
gone. Thank you. Check out Guest Artist.
It's so good, so good, so good. It's one of those that I honestly think Jeff Daniels and the other guy deserve to be nominated for an Oscar for these performances. But we'll see what happens, because this is going to be a weird year for Oscars and stuff. Because while they are, they're not requiring theatrical runs this year, since the theater's been closed for half the year. So there's going to be a lot of online movies, streaming movies and stuff. So
are they going to allow them?
Yeah. They're this year it's open.
That's going to be
because
crazy.
They can't only let the people. It's not fair to all the movies that came out, in the 6 months in between, or they got held till next year or whatever. So, but anyway, yeah, Guest Artists will be available on all the streaming platforms. You should definitely check it out. It's a great movie.
Did y'all talk about how? Yeah, we didn't care for Hamilton. Sorry.
I hated Hamilton.
I really tried. My first problem with Hamilton is I don't like Lin-Manuel Miranda's voice. I don't think it's deep enough for the raps and stuff.
I need to play something for you.
However,
I did see him perform one of the songs on Graham Norton Live, and it's better.
However, I like the actual staging.
Yeah.
I love the lighting. I love the way that stage rotated. I like the costumes. And I give props to those ladies dancing in corsets, because I've done that before, and it's very difficult to sing and dance.
She did it on stage, not at home.
Yeah, no, I've done theater. So I totally appreciate the music, the sound, the lighting, the effects. But I think what's off-putting at the very beginning is you come into, woo! It's like, no, I hate that. I don't like seeing anything recorded live.
Yeah.
I hate live concerts. I don't like anything recorded live. I feel like if I was there in the audience,
that's different, because you're feeding the vibe.
That wouldn't bother me as much. So I was immediately off-put by all the loud noise.
See, my thing was,
and then his voice.
Well, I love history, and even though I know a lot of the history in this is not accurate, I love history, and I'm huge in the hip-hop rap world. So my vision from everything I always heard was this urban twist on this history. So I was uber excited to see it. And then we started watching. I'm like, no, this is pretty much every other musical I've ever heard. Now, I understand the delivery was a little more modern.
Yeah.
So it definitely would capture people that might not normally like musical theater or musicals and that kind of thing, or history, and it makes people learn things. I love that nature about it. It just didn't work for me.
We'll try again. I'm going to try again.
Are you?
I'll
rewatch it again with you, because like there were some elements, like the guy that does the King song is a great song.
Love it, yes.
I love his spittle. We were talking about it, and then
somebody
posted that the best part of Hamilton was this guy's spit. And
yeah.
So.
Well, I like the other guy. He's on my show, Bull, the guy that plays Chunk. He's a lawyer on the show.
Well,
love him, and I love that other Hispanic guy.
Yeah, the one black African American, gentleman. He's Rainbow's brother on Blackish.
So I mean, there's a lot of really good people. I'll give it another try. I promise to give it another try, because I care. I care about clean air.
We'll talk about it. No matter if we talked about it last week. If you ask, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it again. Ask me anything.
Right. What else you got?
Except how much I weigh. I don't care. I'll tell you that too. How much I weigh. I'm like, ask me anything except how much I weigh. Remember, there's this one episode of I Love Lucy. I love Lucy. And there's one episode where Lucy had to tell. I do. She had to tell the truth for 24 hours. But it so happened that that day was when she had the bridge game with all the girls, and they, all the ladies lied the whole game, just doing whatever. And so Ethel's like, oh, you guys don't be mad at Lucy. She has to tell the truth because she said something mean to one of the ladies. Like, she's like, you can't play with her. You always cheat. And she's like, oh. And so then they're like, well, if Lucy has to tell the truth, they're like, Lucy, how old are you? How much do you weigh? What's your real hair color? And so she tells him, and she's like,
you have to tell him her hair color is black and white?
No, she said it's mousy brown.
But the show was black and white.
I know.
How did you know that?
So she tells him how much she weighs, how old she is, and her hair. She goes, my hair's mousy brown. Now shut up and play. Anyways.
All right, what else we got?
Side note, I love Lucy. Okay.
We want to talk about...
What? I had the list.
I know.
Going up.
Do we want to go to this one next, or do you want to go to the top one first?
Let's go to the top one.
All right. So the next one is a kind of a...
I had no idea what this movie was about. I know you told me.
Here's what's so annoying with this young lady is I tell her all the time, hey, do you want to watch this? And I'll read the synopsis because I know there's certain things that she needs to be in the mood for, she needs to prepare for. And this is one of those that is, I got it late. It had already come out on DVD and stuff, but I got it late in the mail. And I was like, we got to watch this. So do you want to watch this? 4 different times I asked her about watching it. And every time she's like, I don't think I'm ready for that. It sounds heavy. So then we start watching it this time, and she's like, I didn't know this was like this. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, and it's a perfect timing for this film, too, because it's very relevant right now. But it's a movie called Burden.
Yes.
And it stars Garrett Hedlund, which a lot of you might know from the Tron film, Tron Legacy. He's done other stuff since then. Forrest Whitaker, who you know from everything, and Usher.
Who you know as the singer, dancer dude.
And Tom Wilkinson, who's always awesome.
Yes.
He plays that guy.
Yeah. Who is the main lady? Because she actually did a really good job. The curly hair lady.
Oh, the one with the hair I kept telling you looked like
Andrea Riseborough.
Yes. Riseborough. Yes.
Burrow.
Anyway, so the movie's called Burden.
And look how she looks for real.
That doesn't look anything like that girl. The premise of the film, it's a true story based on a young man who is a member of the Klan and is unlikely friendship / assistance, I guess, if you will, with a black preacher and helps him kind of find his new path.
Yes.
That's an easy way to put it, right?
That's a good
Now, here's the thing, is if you don't... I think it was good that you're dumb and you don't remember anything, because part of the reveal in this movie makes it way more shocking that you didn't know what was happening.
Did you see me? I was like...
Yeah, because there's a whole thing... So, like, if you...
It starts off just like a normal thing, guy hanging out with his friends, doing normal
and they're rebuilding a theater in this old town, and at the opening is one of the guys is walking by, like, I believe like a little Indian gentleman, and he goes, what are you guys doing over there? And he's like, we're rebuilding this theater. And they're like, about time somebody did something in this town. But then when they finally reveal the theater, should I tell them what it is?
Yeah, I mean,
it's part of the main story.
This is a true story.
Yeah, and that's not a twist to it. It just was kind of surprising. But they're opening a redneck KKK museum that nobody knew that's what they were doing. And so, of course, the Reverend and the rest of the African-American townspeople and a lot of the white people are protesting it. So then you get the idea of what race relations we're going to do with it. So before people start going, I know that's relevant because of what's going on, but, that's an old movie. The movie takes place in 1996.
It's not that long ago, buddy.
So we're dealing with Klan members in a Klan museum and all this kind of stuff in the 90s. So it's not that far removed from where we're at today. But anyway, and without going into every aspect story, things occur and you get these two guys together. So what did you think of the movie?
Well, since I had no idea what the movie was about, no. I knew you told me, hey, we need to watch this movie about this KKK thing. I was like, okay. But I didn't realize this was it. So dumb. Christ. I really don't pay attention. And I actually kind of like that. I mean, and
you like that you don't pay attention?
Well, I like that I didn't know what it was about.
Oh, I agree. And if you would allow me to just do that all the time, we'd do that. But the problem is...
Well, I just need you to tell me, is it heavy? Is it funny? Is it a talkie?
But that doesn't matter, because a lot of times if I tell you that, and then you're like, oh, I don't like this person's face, or I don't want to see this.
That's that Dano kid.
I know, but it's like, oh, this one has clowns, or this one...
And I don't like clowns.
And I'm aware.
You know what? Okay, I will agree from now through the end of the year. When new movies come in, you tell me, hey, we have to watch it. I just need you to tell me, is it heavy? Is it scary? Or is it funny?
What if I don't know?
I guess that's okay.
This one was easy to figure out because of the topic. The subject matter pretty much tells you.
Well, I didn't know because I didn't read the box. But then that's also the thing. If you've been watching our show for the past 200 episodes, I don't like to see a lot of movie trailers. I want to see maybe 2 for one movie. That's it. I don't want to know too much. I don't want to really know who's in it. And even when a movie starts and the credits are playing, I try not to look at the bottom of the screen. I like to be surprised.
Well, and I go out of my way to hide her from things.
Yes.
Because, like for instance, when Winter Soldier came out,
Yes.
Being a comic fan, I already knew the twist to the Winter Soldier character. She didn't. And so when they put out the posters and it says who's playing Winter Soldier, if you had any common sense, you'd immediately know who the character is because it's played by the same actor.
I had no idea.
So I was not letting her see the posters. I was not letting her see the trailers. And she's like, why? I'm like, they're telling you the movie. And she's like, how? And I'm like, just trust me. And I remember us seeing the movie and coming out of the screening, and we walked past. It was the solo poster of the Winter Soldier, and I said, look. And it's the big picture of the Winter Soldier in his arm, and it says Sebastian Stan. And you're like, that's the guy that played Bucky. I'm like, that's why I didn't want you to know that.
Yeah,
because that's the twist.
Yes. Why do they do that? Why do they tell you this crap?
There's a double-edged sword to the whole thing.
I know marketing.
And it's the audience's fault.
I know you guys.
It's the audience's fault because audiences will not. Most audiences will not blindly watch something unless they know who's in it.
I know.
They got an idea what it's about. You know. And some of the direction it's going to go. And so now we've got things with it, movies that should have been huge that failed.
Yeah.
And so studios feel the need that we got to let you know, like we should have never known Spider-Man was going to be in Civil War. Yeah. That should have been a big surprise while watching the film. But they knew if they didn't tell you Spider-Man was going to show up, it wasn't going to get as big of a reaction. Now, given it's a Marvel movie, and it's not, it would have been big anyway.
You assume the whole universe will show up.
But it's the same way of anything. Is when as soon as there's a mild bump in the road, they've got to give you something. They got to feed you something. And a lot of times, movies are really good about, or the trailer is really good about teasing you, but it's actually completely different than what they're telling you.
Yeah,
that's when it works. But then you get other ones that's very blatantly right across the trailer, you know the entire movie, and that messes
I hate
it
when
up.
they do that with funny movies too, and like they tell you all the jokes in the trailer, and then
but
it's like,
that's how they're going to get you to see it because they're saying, look how funny this movie is, and if they show you just a couple of lame jokes and then a lot of the filler, people are like, that movie looks bad.
Well, and I hate that too. I think sometimes with endings of movies, like they give you it instead of just letting it hang.
Well, and you can tell when you watch a movie when they made that movie, that specific moment was meant to be a surprise.
Yeah.
But it's already been in the trailer, so it's not. And I've watched directors and people post about how it pissed me off so bad when they released this. You shouldn't have known that. Mm-hmm. But it's also marketing. What can we do about it?
Remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger thing? Like he was making sure nobody spoiled Terminator or whatever.
Oh, when he showed up for that little cameo.
Mm-hmm. Like he was all fighting and angry about that one. Anywho,
the
movie Burden. So
movie trailers are a burden.
We're dealing with this whole KKK thing, but we're also dealing with a pastor whose life has been directly impacted by these people and things that have happened in his life.
And he's nonviolent.
And he's nonviolent and into the peace. And the thing I think I loved most about this movie is that we get to see he's a real person.
Yeah.
He's not just like, I got to be super Christian all the time, 100%.
There's that moment where
you are, but
that was one of my favorite scenes.
There's a moment where you have human emotion.
Because he butts heads with his own son, too, who he's that angry younger people that are like, why do you let this happen? We got to fight. We got to fight back. Which is where you normally have your issue. You have those people that say, we can't change this unless we fight back. You have the other people say, but this is only going to get changed with love and understanding and compassion. But if both sides don't have that, it's not going to work. And
it's hard.
There's a scene in that movie where you get to see Forrest Whitaker's character kind of break the peace and love character to show his emotions. And you get to see his son see that. And then his son, I think that's when he understood
him finally.
He's like, okay, you are angry. You're not just a coward. Happiness, and maybe I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the other for me, the big thing was the girlfriend that I was telling you, the main lady, Andrea Riseborough. She is so good in this movie.
She is. She's everybody is so white trash.
And
and I hate white trash. Redneck, very redneck and dirty.
But there's one point where she even says, she's talking to the guy and she's like, okay, if black people were gone, who do you think they'd pick on next? It'd be us because we're white trash.
Yeah.
So that's what's
interesting about this story is you have the classification of the white people that are considered the bottom.
Yeah.
And then you have the minorities these same white people that would be considered the bottom to white people consider them to be the bottom.
I'm telling you.
And so it's two classes of people that are hated against by the same class of people.
Yes, by the rich white people.
But they butt heads against each other.
And it's crazy. And that's what, I've had these whole big discussions with my BBFF about, okay, what if.
What did you say?
My BBFF. My black best friend forever.
Why do you need to put black on it? Why can't he just be your best friend?
Because that's you. You're my BFF. He's my BBFF.
So does that mean you have an IBFF?
Yes.
And an ABFF?
I have one of every group.
It sounds like you collect them.
I do. We're a collection.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, but we've talked about this. Like, okay, what if we got over racism based on skin color? Well, would it end? No, because like you said, then it'd be rich and poor. Yeah. Or it'd be like, people who live in a house and people who live in an apartment. Or, so there's
who drives a Pinto, who drives a Camaro.
Yeah, there's always going to be this class thing between people. And we need to get over it.
What's really funny is, and I've learned over the years between different jobs, because I worked in the entertainment industry for like 15 years and doing what I do, and then you being in the corporate world for so many years, it's really funny about how 90% of it is perception, not reality.
I agree.
Like I have people that think because we have all these movies and we have our movie website, and then I'm an artist, and then I drive this car, I do this, they're like, man, you got the bucks. But not understanding that all those jobs don't pay that much.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them pay nothing.
Yeah.
Our whole website and this show and all this stuff, this is strictly because we love movies and fun. We make no money off this.
Yeah.
We don't do Patreons. We don't have click ads. We should, because we're an idiot. Mm-hmm. But we don't make any money on this. But the perception.
Hey, sometimes they send us free copies of movies.
Well, that's the benefit.
I mean, that's what we get.
But the perception of reality of having a certain car. Like I remember when I got my H3 that I used to have, and I'd pull up somebody look at you different when you're getting out of a Hummer than if I got out of what did I have before? I had that Tiburon.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody look at you different than Tiburon. But when I got the Tiburon, they looked at me different than when I got out of that Ford Fiat, not Fiat.
You had your Cruiser.
Yeah, you get out of PT Cruiser, and then you get out of a Tiburon. They look at you different, and it's that little subtle thing. They assume something about you.
Yeah.
Or if you're wearing pearls, somebody's like, "Ooh, fancy." Even though you got that as a gift from someone else that might have money,
mm-hmm.
and you ain't got nothing but that one set of pearls.
I had a nice pearl necklace, and my mom took it from me when I was a teenager. So
I was fixing to say, I bought you pearls.
This lovely man bought me a pearl necklace and matching.
I was about to go kick your mom's ass. I thought she took your pearls.
No, that's why I asked you. What I do need is a ring with a pearl.
Okay, this isn't about what
to
you
match.
Need. Okay, this isn't about you getting anything.
Okay,
else.
If anybody wants to get me a pearl ring, thank you. Anyways. This movie is really good. It's really timely. It's really relevant. I am so upset that honestly, in the past 50, 60 years, things still have not necessarily changed or gotten better. I mean, they've probably gotten better, but I don't know.
The only real change that's happened is either people that have money or white people that think nothing's happening. That's the sad truth.
Well, and we have a name for it called white privilege, we never had a name for it before. I think what really is different is we were to the point of tolerance, but now with this presidency and with everything, the tolerance has gone away, and people think it's okay to vocalize.
Well, here's the issue: is we don't have anybody on any platform of government, because I mean, we can go into the Trump stuff and argue that point. But that's not even the biggest issue. We don't have anybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent, or anybody else, that are standing up and saying, no, this is not okay.
It's not okay.
And everything is about fighting. It's about money. And it's about who's right and who's wrong, not about how do we fix the issue, whether it's with race or police or sexuality or marriage or healthcare or anything. It's always about who's going to make the most money. And how do you make those people happy? They don't give two craps about the rest of us.
I know. It's all political and financial at this point.
It is.
Even with this whole pandemic, I mean, we're getting people out there that probably shouldn't be out there, but it's because we got to save the economy.
Well, and what's crazy is the pandemic is real, but yes, it's being politicized. And yes, there's fear-mongering, and the news is using it because they need the ratings, and I'm sure there's elements being paid by different things, and their agendas and stuff. So now, because you don't have any specific group of people saying no, this is about us. We got to be safe. We got to do this. We got to do that. Then there's people going to fight about it. This goes back to our discussion about too many people have a voice.
Yeah.
And there's too many people that don't have. Will Smith, I think it was talking on an interview not long ago during the Black Lives Matter stuff, and he was like saying, it's not that racism got worse, it's that it's being filmed.
Exactly.
Because now everybody has a camera. You know, weren't able to film it back in the day. You found out if somebody got killed, and then there was a murder situation. But now it's happening all the time, and that's what's crazy is there's tons of good stuff happening with police officers and things happening. Probably more good than there is bad, but the bad is what everybody sees. It's like nobody ever remembers the good things. You always remember the bad stuff that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because the bad stuff shouldn't happen.
Exactly.
So,
oh well.
But like this movie, going back to this one, what I did like with that subject, I like that this film didn't rely on the race situation to define it.
Yes.
Because there is a heavy situation with race, but it never gets to the point of a race war. It's more about redemption and love and hate and all that, and how do you get through that to get something better.
Yeah.
It's really the story. It's about this guy he's at the pit of being the worst, and how does he become better, and can he? And how does these other people be willing to forgive him? And because a lot of people had to suffer in the situation to go to for this one person's redemption or attempted redemption, there's people that get beat up, people get hurt, people lose their jobs, people get, peed on. It's like so many things that happen.
It's horrible.
For one person.
Yeah.
And that kind of shows the power of why that one person needs to be changed or helped. And all these people, like, what makes this one person so special? Well, then you find out what happens after the movie in the credits and what they've been doing. And of course, I'm sure that made you happy.
Yes, it had a proper ending based on a true story. That's the way you do it.
You got footage of both of them and of them talking and pictures and see where they're at.
Yes, it was good.
So anyway,
proper.
So Burden, Forrest Whitaker, Garrett Hedlund. It's available now on Blu-ray and DVD from Universal Pictures. All right, moving on.
All right, next.
And lastly,
we have one more to talk about. Whoop, whoop.
There's another unexpected film.
This one we really didn't have an idea what it was about, did we?
I knew of the film, but I did not know what it was about.
Okay, we just knew it existed.
So here's the thing is, I knew the movie existed. I didn't know it was already on Hulu. And then I saw a report that it was one of like the top streaming movies of that week or whatever. It was a big hit, and I was like, "What? We need to watch this." And then realized who starred in it.
Yeah.
Which we like Andy Samberg from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Saturday Night Live and numerous other things. But it's a movie called
Palm Springs.
And who else is in it?
Kristen Milioti. Yes.
And who else?
J.K. Simmons.
And who else?
People.
Tyler Hoechlin.
I was just gonna say Peter Gallagher because I've always
Gallagher. I know
I've had a crush on him for like 40 years.
You like old men.
I do. Well, but you know, when I liked him 20 years ago, he wasn't old.
But then you're still like Patrick Stewart and Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, I do. Patrick Stewart's just like a sweet little old man, isn't he? He's cute.
I guess.
He's dignified.
Tyler Hoechlin or whatever. He's the new Superman.
Or you might know him as a werewolf in.
Nobody cares.
Yes, you do. What's that teen movie?
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. There we go. That.
Camila Mendez, who is on Riverdale.
Yeah.
She plays Veronica, I believe.
Somebody's in there.
Is Veronica the dark-haired one in Archie?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's Veronica.
There you go.
That's
hot. All you need to know.
She's very hot.
Okay.
So tell everyone what this story's about if you can.
Okay.
Without giving it away.
So this movie is about Andy Samberg. And he's with what's his name?
It's about Andy Samberg.
And he goes to Palm Springs with his girlfriend because his girlfriend is a bridesmaid in a wedding. Okay.
Yep.
So that's where we're at. We're at the wedding. And then he's just, since he knows some people, but not really, he's kind of the tag along guy. And it's one of those out of town weddings. So he's just like chilling by the pool, drinking beer. He shows up kind of crazy drunk to the reception, and just crazy things start to happen.
Yeah, so everything I heard about this movie was how it was this great romantic comedy, and it was an unconventional romantic comedy.
It is unconventional.
And we were like, okay. And so you start watching it, and there's there's two great moments that kind of make him connected with the female lead.
Yeah.
But they seem like way over convenient.
Yeah.
And so you're like, what? And then all of a sudden you get the big twist, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And it becomes this whole, and I don't even want to tell you this twist.
We can't.
I mentioned a little bit of it in the review because you kind of have to, but
you've got to watch this movie.
It
That's all I
is
can
such
tell
a
you.
fun movie.
It's unexpected. The twist is like, what? Because then you're like, wait a minute. Go back.
Yeah, and it ends up leading into like lots of montage scenes.
Yes.
But
also, it's kind of like a big existential, what is the purpose of life movie in the end. Because he realizes he's with his girlfriend, but he starts to realize, I really don't think I like her that much.
Right.
And so he's like, why am I even here?
Yeah.
Well, I'm at this stupid wedding. And then
which again, at the beginning, it makes no sense how he's dressed, how he's doing anything, and you're like, what? I don't understand what is happening. Why is nobody saying anything? And
it's crazy. You've got to watch this movie. Anyways, I love him. At first, in the very, very beginning of time, I didn't really like Andy
At the beginning of time?
Yes, when I first was introduced to him, I did not like
Andy
him.
Samberg has always been hilarious.
But he's grown on me. Like a little beautiful fungus.
Anytime the Lonely Island does anything, I'm there. Which Lonely Island, if you don't know, is his group.
It's on Hulu? Netflix? On Netflix.
Hulu.
Thank you.
The Lonely Island is his group. It's him and the two guys. The two guys that are in Pop Star.
When you have to keep on keeping on?
Yes, Never Stop
Stopping.
Those two guys and him are the Lonely Island. And they're a production company, but they write music for Saturday Night Live. They do a lot of movies, so they produce this movie as well. So as soon as the Lonely Island popped up, I'm like, I'm in.
Okay. Well, I loved it. The main girl in the romantic comedy section is the girl from How I Met Your Mother. So I was like, oh, okay, I know her. I'll watch that. I think she was maybe the mother. I didn't finish it.
She's not one of the main characters. I mean, but you say that, and then they're gonna be like, is it Allison Hannigan?
She was the girlfriend with the yellow umbrella. That's all you need to know.
All right.
Anyways.
But and it's funny because like J.K. Simmons shows up, and it's very
and
out of left field.
Like, why is he at this wedding? Like he was invited or something?
Well, but he shows up in a very violent way initially, and it's like.
And that's the thing. It's like typical, all the weirdo things that can happen at a wedding happen. People are drunk. People are on drugs. People are making out with each other. People are cheating with each other. I mean, bad dancing.
But it's very much.
Toasts.
You know what it reminds me of? Even though this one has a totally different topic, it reminded me of that other wedding movie we watched, that Love Wedding Repeat, whatever. Remember, it kept showing different one with Olivia Munn, and it kept showing the different.
Oh yes, and like but what
different
things
could have happened
this way?
It's very much like that, but in a totally different direction.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like that, but funny.
Well, that one was funny too.
It was, but this is funny. I'm just telling you, this is funny too. You need to watch. You need to watch both of them.
And this one's hard to talk about because it's like I don't want to spoil any of it.
Yeah, it's different, but you've got to watch it. And I didn't understand for a second what was happening.
Yeah, we were both like,
wait a minute, what?
It was entertaining, but I was like,
I think my favorite is when he and that girl get together and they choreograph this whole dance.
And then the way they use it?
Yes.
Because you think they're getting ready for the wedding to do something.
Doing their wedding dance
and
they
it's so not
somewhere
that.
else and they're
my God.
And they're like
and it makes no sense.
It's so bizarre.
It's so funny.
So bizarre. I love it. We should choreograph that dance.
Okay,
whatever. That's funny. Anyways, there's just a lot. There's a lot happening in this movie, so you've got to watch it.
It's a Hulu original film called Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
So if you already have Hulu, it's free.
There you go.
If you don't have Hulu, I'm sure you can probably stream it or something.
Just go buy Hulu.
It's
Come on. Don't be cheap.
But it's a fun movie. Really should check it out.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
That was all we had to talk about today.
Talk about the giveaways?
Yes, please.
What do you mean that's all? We gave 4 movies. What do these people want?
I don't know.
Hold on.
We technically talked about 5 or 6, but that's okay.
We only talked about 4, and then we threw in some injections of other things.
Have you watched any movies this week during Corona?
No, because I've been watching I've been catching up on TV series and stuff. So one of them is coming out this week. I'll segue into that.
Oh.
One of them things coming out this week.
Let's be on the segue.
Thank you. One of the things coming out this week is the 2nd season of Castle Rock.
Nice.
So I've been watching this week, trying to get caught up on it. If you don't know what Castle Rock is, it's the is it Amazon? I think it's an Amazon series. Maybe it's Hulu as well. It's Hulu. It's another Hulu original, I believe. Anyway, it's an entire world based on the writings of Stephen King. So it's a town, and they make references to it and The Shining, and Shawshank Prison is actually a place there that they go to a lot. You have characters, you have some actors that have appeared in some of the other Stephen King movies. This season follows Annie Wilkes, which is basically the nurse that Kathy Bates plays in Misery. It takes place before Misery, and you don't know if it's going to actually connect to the movie story or if it's its own thing. This season feels like it's a complete own thing, separate from everything else, but in reality is connected to the first season. It's a great little show, but this comes out this week. If we do TV Tuesday, I'll go more in depth about it.
Yeah.
That comes out this week. We have some giveaways. We're still giving away copies of Enter the Fat Dragon with Donnie Yen in a fat suit. It's a great fun movie, martial arts flick. We're giving away copies of, here, we already had this one on here, Samurai Marathon. We're giving away copies of, and yes, it's Samurai's Running, it's just like it sounds. We have, this is one of our newest editions. We're giving away copies of Scoob, the new animated Scooby-Doo film.
So cute.
It also features Blue Falcon.
I really enjoyed that movie.
I did too, and I didn't understand people that really hated it.
Really? Why?
Yeah, some of the Scooby-Doo fans was like, "Oh, it was just ridiculous." And, like,
all Scooby-Doo's ridiculous.
Some of them didn't like the voices because they didn't have Matthew Lillard back as Shaggy for some reason. He posted he didn't know why they didn't have him back, but whatever. I am not a Scooby-Doo. This is becoming a Harley Quinn thing again, where I said last week or whatever about how I'm not really a fan of that, but it seems like the last few things now come out. It's happening in Scooby-Doo now. I'm not a fan of the original Scooby-Doo cartoons, but some of the last few things that have come out I've started kind of enjoying. But this one, I'm a fan of this more because you got Blue Falcon, you got Captain Caveman, you got
everybody.
Dirk Dastardly. So you got a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff. And it also serves as kind of an opening of a new Hanna-Barbera possible universe, which made me excited. So we're giving away copies of that. I have Dose. So enter for the chance to win that. We're also, I haven't posted this, the new Indonesian superhero flick, Gundala, Rise of a Hero. It's a new Indonesian superhero martial arts action flick. We've got a couple of copies of that to give away. And we do still have copies of The High Note we're going to be giving away. It is not live yet because we're waiting closer to the release, which is like August 11th. So that'll go live. And there are some new 4Ks that are going to be supposed to be given away soon. So be on the lookout for that. It was Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2 on 4K, as well as The Goonies and Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Don't. Might show up.
You mean like Candyman?
Don't do that. You have to be looking in the mirror for that.
I know.
So that's good. I'm glad there's not one here.
There's a mirror right here.
No, don't do that. He'll show
but
up.
we should have 4K copies of those to give away up soon. So be on the lookout for that.
All right. So there is new stuff coming out. Don't dismay. Coming out on Monday.
Who is dismaying?
I'm just making sure. Coming out on Monday. I hope everyone's excited for this. Die Hard with Kevin Hart.
It is not a movie.
Oh, well, it's
a new Quibi show.
It's a Quibi.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Kevin Hart and John Travolta.
But it's streaming. I think, but you get all the episodes, don't you?
No, it's one per day or one per week. Or
hate that.
It varies because I know like all the other ones that I've looked at, I think were one every day.
It's showing it on the movie list. That's okay.
Well, it's because it's probably was shot as the movie broken into a Quibi thing.
Watch it on Quibi. If you don't have Quibi, just get it. You get the first week free, so you could probably just wait and watch
Reno 911, and you can see the most awesomest thing ever, which they did what's called Home Movie: The Princess Bride. They reenacted the entire Princess Bride movie with various actors that just did it at home with their own home stuff. So like they're using lightsabers, they're using curtains as wardrobe. It's the funniest thing ever, and it's a great.
My favorite thing on Quibi was the show Floored, where dance crews are dancing, but the floor's doing this, and they throw things at them. And then also Murder House Makeover on Quibi. So good.
Anyway, moving on.
I'm just telling you, Quibi's the thing to be. Then coming out on Tuesday, something really interesting. I want to find it. Streaming online. It's a movie called The Room. And it's this room where anything you ask for magically appears. But of course, you know there's going to be consequences. So you got to check that one out.
The dog's licking his butt.
Coming out on Friday, a limited release called The Big Ugly with
Is
Vinnie Jones
and
Malcolm McDowell and Ron Perlman, and it's just, I don't even know. It's
all
about
the ugly men in Hollywood.
I guess it's about oil men.
I got you.
Who knows? A limited release called Retaliation. I have no idea, but Orlando Bloom's in it, so don't know. This one looks interesting too. It's a movie called The Amulet, and it's this guy who comes back from war, and he becomes it's like a boarding house is what it sounds like, but he's living, and this lady is taking care of an older lady, but you never see her, and she mysteriously lives on the top floor, never to be seen. So there's something creepy going on there. This is good, and I think we all need to watch this. Coming out on Prime Video, Radioactive. It's the story of Marie Curie, who created a lot of our groundbreaking, revolutionary medical technologies. So please watch that. It has a bunch of people in it, but it's on Prime, so you can find it. Coming out on Netflix, I have no idea what this is. The Kissing Booth Part 2. I didn't even see the first Kissing Booth, so who knows? It looks like
Howard Stern was ranting about the Kissing Booth.
It looks like a little teeny bopper movie.
It is.
Okay. And then something called The Rental. This is one where these people are renting a house, but they think the owners are secretly spying on them. So it's kind of maybe a thriller. So you need to check that out. All right.
This week we've got obviously Castle Rock, which I already told you about. Scoob, which I already told you about. Samurai Marathon, which I already told you about. Also a documentary we'll be talking about next week, hopefully, called You Don't Know Me, which is I guess the popularity, failure, and cult status of the movie Showgirls.
Oh my gosh, I've got to watch this.
So it's all got different celebrities and people talking about how much they love the movie or whatever about the movie and some of the production.
Some people hate this movie.
I was in love with this movie when it came out. Not because it's a good movie, because I was just obsessed with seeing whatever her name is from Saved by the Bell naked.
Oh, Lord.
Because it was the first time naked. And then I saw her, and I'm like, she's very unproportioned. Because she's a big girl, like tall, but then she's very small. But she's still sexy. So, but then Gina Gershon's in it, and I'm all about Gina Gershon.
Yeah. But I liked the movie. I always did.
It grew on me as a good movie. I
like when she's all like...
I believe Harold Perrineau's in it. I'm like a huge Harold Perrineau fan. So anyway, so that's coming out. I'm looking forward to having to watch that. A movie called Survive the Night, starring Chad Michael Murray and Bruce Willis, is coming out, which is yet another one in the long stream of Bruce Willis just makes straight-to-video movies for no apparent reason.
Well, maybe he needs money right now.
I don't know, but he puts tons of these out now. He shows up in movies left and right, which baffles me. He shows up in all these movies. There seems to be a new Bruce Willis movie. He's become the new Steven Seagal. There seems to be a new Bruce Willis movie show up about every few months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a small cameo. Sometimes it's a bigger part. Yet he turned down the Die Hard show,
which you would think
to
he'd
be
do
with
a
Kevin
cameo.
Hart. No, he was supposed to be the John Travolta character.
Oh my gosh!
Because he didn't understand what Quibi was. So then it went to John Travolta.
Oh my gosh!
So now I'm sure this was before Quibi had launched when they were making it, but still, it's like whatever. They're releasing Spartacus on 4K.
Oh, cool.
Marriage Story is going to be hit the Criterion Collection, which is the one with
hit and miss on that
Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. Such a great movie. Great performances. In the Name of the Father. And that's pretty much. Oh, Airplane is getting the 40th edition. I was hoping.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about that the other day.
Hopefully it'll show up.
I speak jive.
That's right. Hopefully we'll show up.
And then I had to explain to our friend Nitty what jive is.
Larry Crown looks like it's getting a new release.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, but we have Larry
That's
Crown.
That's spectacular. I love Larry Crown. Oh my gosh.
I know you do.
Spectacular.
Anyway, and then also there's a new edition of not new edition, but a new edition of the Paramount Presents, which is the release of Ghost.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be doing an airplane version of that same release, so we'll talk about Ghost and revisit it because I hated the movie Ghost when it came out. I thought it was a piece of trash, but we're gonna revisit it from new eyes.
Yes.
And we'll see what happens.
Mature eyes.
Because there's been a lot of movies that I've revisited that I hated when they came out. And then I have a new, like Top Gun. I hated Top Gun when it came out. I still think Top Gun is overrated, but I do enjoy it for the movie it is now. And I'm actually excited to see Maverick if it ever gets to theaters.
I know. I think that'll be a good one. That one you have to see in a theater, I think, for the sound.
Yeah, and it's still scheduled to hit the end of the year, but we'll just see what happens. Like, if you want to talk about those movies with Tom Cruise, I hated Tom Cruise during that whole time period. It wasn't until Jerry Maguire that I became a Tom Cruise fan. Now I love Tom Cruise, but I did realize of all those movies back in the day where everybody was spouting in love of Top Gun,
yeah,
I was a Days of Thunder man all the way.
Oh, okay.
I rewatched Days of Thunder when they put them out on 4K.
You still like it?
They sent me Top Gun, Days of Thunder, War of the Worlds, and something else in 4K. And I was like, man, this Days of Thunder movie is really good. I really like this movie. Why do people care about this dumb Top Gun? Days of Thunder is where it's at.
You're so funny. All right. That's it for today's
today.
show. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Don't forget to go up to the contest button to get all the free stuff. And thank you for watching us right now on Facebook and YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram.
And don't forget, I'm going to be here for another episode of Martial Art Movie Mondays tomorrow. I have my next movie we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about. So hopefully I'll knock it out during the day, but if not, I'll do it late at night. And then hopefully we'll get to do TV Tuesday. We actually did a TV Tuesday last week, even though I didn't do a Martial Arts Movie Monday.
We had so much to catch up on.
But hopefully we'll be back again for another TV Tuesday this week. And then, of course, we'll be back for Sunday for another episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. But if you miss it, you can watch it unlive later on because it's on all our platforms. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and all the above. And we didn't tell you last week that we talked about the movie Beelzebub. The star of the movie tweeted it out and made a comment about everybody needs to read this lovely review of our film. So
good.
What?
We got lots of good.
And Tim Robbins just liked my review of Castle Rock. So
that's nice. Good job.
We're best friends now.
Good. I'm glad.
Anyway.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Peace and love. Everybody have a wonderful day. We'll have a whole different setup next week, I'm sure. Bye.
Yes. Who knows what it will look like.